Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into what might be the most devastating takedown of Meghan Markle we've ever seen, and it's not coming from the British tabloids or royal sources, but from one of America's most respected media voices. Bill Simmons, the legendary sports analyst, podcaster, and cultural commentator, has absolutely obliterated Meghan with a brutal assessment that's sending shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. Now, I know you guys are excited for more. But before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, this isn't just another day of Meghan criticism. This is a cultural execution that's left her seething behind the scenes at Montecito. Let me break down exactly what happened and why this particular critique might be the final nail in the coffin of Meghan's carefully constructed post-royal image. On his massively popular podcast, Bill Simmons didn't mince words when discussing Meghan's latest Netflix show and her complaints about having to wear pantyhose during her brief royal stint. He called her, and I quote, beyond insufferable, mocking her as 54-year-old Granny Meghan, and formerly known as a has-been. Ouch! Those three words, beyond insufferable, are now trending across social media, becoming the defining description of Meghan Markle in pop culture. Let's be clear about who Bill Simmons is. This isn't some random YouTuber or Twitter account. Simmons is a media powerhouse who built his empire on sharp analysis. He's the founder of The Ringer, partnered with Spotify, and commands an audience that includes industry insiders, executives, and mainstream listeners across America. When Simmons speaks, Hollywood listens. His audience cuts across demographics, young and old, sports fans, and pop culture enthusiasts. That means Meghan's humiliation isn't confined to gossip blogs. It's being discussed in boardrooms, streaming platforms, and living rooms nationwide. The phrase beyond insufferable is particularly devastating because it's so perfectly concise. It's not just calling her annoying, it's saying she has moved past the point of redemption, that her behavior, brand, and persona are so intolerable that people have completely lost patience. And here's the brutal part. It sticks, because it aligns perfectly with the criticisms Meghan has faced for years. Her carefully staged interviews, endless victim narratives, and constant need to be the center of attention. Simmons didn't stop there. He twisted the knife further with that mocking jab at her age and fading relevance. 54-year-old Granny Meghan, and formerly known as a has-been. For someone who sells herself as eternally stylish, glamorous, and youthful, being painted as a desperate aging star clinging to relevance is absolutely unbearable. It plays into Meghan's deepest insecurity, that she's not the Hollywood A-lister she imagined herself to be, but rather yesterday's news. The has-been label is particularly devastating in entertainment circles. It doesn't mean you're controversial or disliked. It means you're irrelevant, that the world has moved on and you didn't notice. For Meghan, who has worked relentlessly to frame herself as relevant, powerful, and modern, this is the ultimate nightmare. She's not being mocked as dangerous or powerful, but as forgotten. And in Hollywood, being forgotten is the true death sentence. Insiders say Meghan was absolutely seething when she heard Simmons' remarks, not just irritated or upset, but furious. To her, this wasn't just an insult, it was a public dismantling of everything she's built since leaving the royal family. Meghan has tried to reinvent herself as an icon, a global leader, a woman above criticism, and now, in just a few cutting words, Simmons reduced her to a laughingstock. The worst part? There's nothing she can do about it. You can deny rumors. You can issue statements, but you can't stop a viral insult from spreading. Beyond insufferable is now tattooed onto her public reputation. Every new project she launches, every speech she gives will be haunted by those words. Meghan usually leans on Prince Harry to defend her, to go to battle against critics, paint her as a victim, shield her from ridicule. But this time, silence. Harry has said absolutely nothing. Insiders say he's embarrassed, caught in an impossible bind. If he speaks up, he risks drawing more attention to Simmons' brutal words. If he stays quiet, Meghan sees it as betrayal. Either way, his inaction fuels speculation that even Harry knows the criticism has teeth. For a man who once positioned himself as his wife's fiercest protector, his silence speaks volumes. What makes Simmons's words so damaging is not just that they were funny or cruel, but that they echoed what Hollywood insiders have whispered for years. Executives, producers, and fellow celebrities have often complained quietly that Meghan is difficult, exhausting, and obsessed with controlling every detail. Now, Simmons has said it publicly, and instead of outrage, the industry is laughing along behind closed doors. His line is being repeated with knowing smirks in production meetings and talent agencies. If Meghan thought the insult would fade quickly, the internet proved otherwise. Hashtags like Beyond Insufferable and Granny Meghan trended for hours. TikTok creators spliced Simmons' words with clips from With Love Meghan, mocking how over-rehearsed and self-absorbed she appeared on screen. Twitter X users posted side-by-side images, Meghan posing in couture gowns next to captions reading, "Has been energy." Memes are brutal but effective. They turn humiliation into a running joke. And once you're a meme, you don't get to control your image anymore. Meghan, who has fought for years to sculpt every detail of her public persona, now finds herself helpless as strangers remix her downfall into viral entertainment. Her publicists are reportedly scrambling. They know they can spin gossip and fight tabloids, but they cannot fight comedy. You cannot issue a denial to a joke. You cannot fact-check sarcasm. One insider allegedly admitted that her team doesn't know whether to ignore the scandal or try to drown it out with a new project announcement. But both options are dangerous. Ignoring it makes it stick, fighting it makes it grow. Either way, the damage is done. The most devastating aspect of this takedown is that it came from a respected American commentator with no ties to the monarchy. That makes it impossible to dismiss as British racism or tabloid cruelty. Instead, it validates what many have felt but hesitated to say, that Meghan Markle, with her endless interviews, staged Netflix shows, and victim narratives, has simply become exhausting. Insufferable. Beyond insufferable. But Simmons didn't just criticize her personality, he also fact-checked her claims. When Meghan complained about having to wear pantyhose as a royal, Simmons called her out directly. The pantyhose thing is a lie. I went back and tracked all of the times she broke protocol by not wearing pantyhose. He cited her appearance at Hamilton in London in 2018 among a long list of times she didn't wear them. So, don't complain about having to wear pantyhose when you didn't, he concluded. This is why this scandal might stick forever. Pop culture doesn't need official decrees, it needs moments. And this was a moment, a phrase, a roast, a viral clip that crystallized years of criticism into a perfect soundbite. Meghan Markle isn't just controversial anymore. She's a punchline, Oak. It's almost impossible to be taken seriously again. The timing couldn't be worse for Meghan. Her Netflix show With Love Meghan has failed to generate the buzz she hoped for. Her lifestyle brand American Riviera Orchard has produced little beyond a few jars of jam sent to celebrity friends. Her podcast deal with Spotify collapsed spectacularly. She desperately needs public goodwill, and instead, she's facing the most damaging PR crisis of her post-royal career. What makes this particularly painful is that Meghan specifically left the royal family to escape criticism and control her own narrative. She fled Britain partly to escape the harsh British press, only to find herself eviscerated by an American media figure with far more cultural credibility than any tabloid journalist. The irony is almost Shakespearean. In seeking freedom from criticism, she's encountered an even more devastating form of it. Industry insiders suggest this could have serious financial consequences. Brands partnering with celebrities want association with relevance and admiration, not with someone widely mocked as beyond insufferable. Future deals may be harder to secure, speaking engagements might dry up, and Netflix executives might question the value of extending her contract when it comes up for renewal. For Harry, this represents yet another painful chapter in his post-royal journey. He's watching his wife's American dream crumble in real time, powerless to stop the avalanche of mockery. Sources close to the prince say he's increasingly nostalgic for the structure and purpose royal life provided, even with its constraints. The contrast between Catherine's dignified battle with cancer and Meghan's complaints about pantyhose hasn't gone unnoticed, even by Harry. This cultural assassination comes at a moment when the royal family is experiencing a surge in popularity. King Charles has won admiration for his steady leadership during his cancer treatment. Prince William and Catherine have demonstrated remarkable grace through her illness. Even Princess Anne and the lesser-known royals are enjoying positive press. The contrast with the Sussex drama factory couldn't be more stark. Bill Simmons may not have intended to destroy Meghan Markle's brand with a few offhand remarks, but that's exactly what he did. He crystallized years of criticism into a perfect soundbite. He gave the internet a weapon, and he said out loud what Hollywood and the public have been whispering, that Meghan Markle is no longer a star, no longer relevant, and no longer tolerable. For Meghan, the rage is boiling, but the truth is unavoidable. She's not just fighting headlines anymore, she's fighting laughter. And that is a battle she cannot win. When a culture decides you're beyond insufferable, there's no PR strategy, no Netflix special, no carefully staged photo op that can undo it. The joke has landed, the phrase has stuck, and Meghan Markle's carefully constructed image lies in ruins. So what happens next? Can Meghan rebuild from this devastating blow? Is there any path to rehabilitation for someone branded beyond insufferable by one of media's most influential voices? Or will this mark the beginning of the end for the Sussex brand in America? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. Bill Simmons has changed the conversation about Meghan Markle forever, and not in a way she can ever spin to her advantage. What do you think? Has Meghan truly crossed the line from controversial to simply intolerable? Or is she being unfairly targeted yet again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unfiltered royal analysis. Until next time, this is your neighborhood critic, signing off. Ta-ta, and bye for now.